Hey, what's going, y'all? It is yours truly once again. Beyond healing is recovery. Sure, healing is cool. After you get hurt, you got to heal. But what about after the healing? That's recovery. Because you think about it, you go to the ER after you've been hurt, depending on the type of trauma. And then you got to go through the healing process, whether based on medication or an operation being done onto you. And then you start to heal, cool. But then afterwards, you need to go through the recovery process, whether you've lost a limb or you've broken a limb, or let's say you got cut or you got burned or you've had some type of abrasion, because a cut is more like a laceration, and an abrasion is more like just something rougher than an Indian burn type of thing. Yeah, something rougher than an Indian burn. But nevertheless, you got to go through the recovery upon your healing. So usually this can involve maybe you have to learn how to walk again, or it could require the cast being removed from you. And you got to get used to your limb operating freely without the cast on for quite some times, whether a plaster cast or just a simple Band-Aid type of a wrap, but your skin has to get used to not having that on you. So that's the recovery process. And the doctors highly recommend that you do not leave the hospital until you get to the recovery stage. But what happens is that a lot of patients still leave the hospital and they haven't even started the recovery. You're still healing, but you're trying to leave the hospital before you can even go through the recovery stage. And I look at life, a lot of individuals, they want to freely go about in this quote unquote dating market. Yeah, they want to go about in this dating market and they haven't even fully recovered. Now, if you know someone that can nurse you back to health, cool. That's different. It's rare, but that's different. And a lot of people speak out against that taboo of really getting around someone that can, quote, nurse you back to health. A lot of times, some people end up doing more harm than good. So you got to watch out for that. And I know that from personal experience. So I'm not telling y'all something I don't know. But with that said, you have to have time to recover. And I believe the recovery is a little different than the healing. The healing is just the time it took for you to get over the hurt that took place in your life. And that could take quite some time. One thing I would say is don't ever let someone put a time frame on how long it takes for you to heal. It's going to take some time. It is what it is. I said what I said. But the thing is that after that, I believe the recovery is once you have gotten past what has hurted you, for the most part, like I said, for the most part, we don't live in a perfect world. You're still going to have flashbacks. Those scars are not going anywhere. But the recovery part of it is you just go out and for the first time, you're able to start to do a lot of the things that you used to do before you got hurt. And that's kind of what the recovery is. So if you are learning how to walk again, you're going to start the recovery process of walking once again. You're going to start the process of getting used to your arm not being in a cast, your foot not being in a cast. I speak from personal experience on that too. Once you start to master your motor skills again from that perspective, then you can actually be cleared to go out and live life once again. And so that, to me, from a life standpoint versus a medical standpoint means you can actually go and try to do bigger and better things in life. A lot of times we put too much on ourselves. Sometimes you don't need to lift the extra weights and put on extra muscles just to feel recovered. Sometimes you need to go back to what you used to do before you went through certain hurts in your life. And then once you start to get back to a certain routine that you used to have in your life, then and only then, maybe you can reconsider some things and be like, hey, maybe I want to put on some muscle today. Just maybe. And ironically, not sure if one can hear, I hear the first responders in the background. So it's funny how all this is coming about. One is getting sent to the trauma. Kind of how things go in life. Maybe that's something to talk about. The first responder part about life. Thanks a million.